All right, everyone. Sticky Bidenflation seems poised to stay here for the indefinite future. Unfortunately, it's actually tacking ahead a little bit right now, which is not necessarily what you want to see, because what that means is that it's linear. When you look at the month-over-month versus the year-over-year measurements with regards to core inflation, what you see is that there's a very linear trajectory at this point. That means that the Fed's interest fiddling has not actually stopped the inflation. Bidenflation is here to stay. It's why they're like, well, we could lower rates, but we're not entirely sure that that's a great idea right now. The year-over-year metric is more meaningful. So when you look at the actual inflation number, what it is it's comparing the price of good, whether it's core or whether it's inflation in general, it's comparing that to the same time last year, so the same month. The month-over-month target is meaningful, but not so much unless it's tacking ahead. And I can tell you why it's tacking ahead, by 0.3 actually, month-over-month for the month of March. The reason is because it's linear inflation. It's almost stagflation at this point. We're probably approaching that too, which is dire, by the way, for the U.S. economy and for Biden's re-election chances. If the bad economy accomplishes only one good thing, it'll be to get the American people to wise up to the fact that Bidenomics is an abysmal failure, and the border policy and everything else are abysmal failures too, and you should probably kick Joe Biden out of office along with as many of his cohorts as possible. And the neocons. Get rid of Mitch McConnell and all these morons too, and it'd be a better nation. I don't envy people, though, when they go to the store and see the $8 pickles, although I did note you can get pickles cheaper, you just have to go to shitty box stores. Yeah, Walmart has cheaper pickles. I just don't like giving Walmart my money. Boycott Walmart. They engage in all sorts of corrupt practices, so I don't know, it's like, but the cost differential is so significant, it's like, I can buy these overinflated pickles, and then I can make my own, of course. I'm definitely going to do that, but damn, I really need some dillies right now. Core inflation tacked ahead 0.3 month-over-month and remains, again, roughly linear. The year-over-year metric being the more important one is paired with the monthly metric, which shows it tacking ahead, but that's because during the same concurrent period in the prior year, inflation was slowly falling. And so necessarily it's going to rise because you've got a less inflated number, which means that if it's linear, the new number should be slightly higher. It's effectively creating a straight line. And the problem is that inflation has pervasively marched ahead of wage growth. It's considerably ahead of GDP growth, etc. It's in fact why GDP appears to be growing on paper, because the currency is worth less and less because there's more of it. So you are pumping the economy at this time. We've been doing this since the Great Recession at an incredible speed. Trump throttled it back some, although there was still inflation there. There were a couple of quarters where you had deflation, actually, which was rather nice. I would love a prolonged period of deflation right now, but I don't think you can expect it. Since we've adopted Marxist economic policies many, many decades ago in the wake of World War II, inflation has been prevalent most of the time. What happens is you get inflation, then it levels off for a while and people get all calm, but you never have a deflation period of any significance. Again, you had a couple of quarters under Obama and Trump where there was deflation, but that was paired with other economic issues too. So, I mean, that comes attendant with its own problems, so... Core inflation, that is food and things like that, the things that you have to have, the things that are the most important, tacking well ahead of what the Fed would want. Their target is 2%. Well, it's like 2.7%. That's in March, up from 2.5 annual rise in February. So, yeah, I mean, it's not going anywhere. It's tacking upwards. So the Fed might have to play with the interest rates even further. They haven't achieved their soft landing, so to speak. If this is a soft landing, my God, that's one bumpy-ass runway. Jesus Christ. Again, you get sticker shock when you get gas. You get sticker shock when you buy food. Look at the grocery prices. It's to the point where people who are, solidly middle class are going to the store. It used to be a dollar store. Now it's probably the $3 store to get like bent cans and stuff like that. Oh, I'm sorry, kids. We have to have ramen again tonight. Tomorrow, though, we've got a special treat for you. We got some Hunt's baked beans. That'll be a real humdinger. And by the way, I got a hot dog. I can only afford one of them, so we're going to have to share it. But, you'll get a little bit of meat in your diet. Milk? We can't really afford that right now either, so we're just going to drink water. But we couldn't afford our water bill, so, Grandpa gave me one of his survival straws, because he's one of those crazy libertarians. So we're going to have to go out to the puddle out back, because that's free. I mean, there are people that were, 5 or 6 years ago, they were kind of making it in life. They were doing fairly well. They could pay their bills. Maybe they even had a nest egg if they're lucky. Own their own home, people who have a reasonable life, reasonable expectations in life, you're making $70K a year or something like that, you're not poor, that are taking out credit cards to buy their fucking eggs. Yeah, then this is the economy that the liberal economists want to tell us is healthy. Core inflation is rising, it's tacking upwards, indicating linear rise over time. It's not going anywhere. What you need right now is a prolonged period of minor deflation for a couple of years to reabsorb the damage, but you're not going to get it. It's been a long time since we had an economy like that. I mean, God, Reagan couldn't accomplish it. Trump comes the closest in the last 60 years. There were periods of deflation in the Trump economy, and inflation never went beyond, I think it was 3.5, and that was only an outlier for like 1 month. His economy was really strong. And joblessness was low then too. I like when the Biden says, well, man, we got record joblessness. Okay, Trump came close to that same mark without people having to take out second jobs, while inflation was also historically very low. Which economy was stronger? And the American people are going to remember that when they go to the polls, by the way, just to be clear. People, when they go to the ballot box, maybe they'll think about the snack that they just bought right before they went to the ballot box. I have a feeling that some people will be voting with their stomach more than anything else. Well, I could scrimp and save to buy a supply of ramen for this month. Or I could vote for the dude who can upgrade me to Campbell's soup. Maybe even Progresso if he's really got that economic magic wand Obama swore he didn't have to get unemployment to 4%. That's about all. Peace out.